People be spitting everywhere. It's sometimes so annoying. And every time I hear the sound, it's like there's like a fucking frog stuck in your throat.
An American woman traveled to China and detailed her observations of people spitting on the streets. She emphasizes that seeing individuals of all ages spitting or smoking in public can feel quite unpleasant or uncomfortable.
I just know what's about to come. I know they're gonna spit at some point, and it just gives me shivers. It's just so gross to me. I can't. I literally can't.
People are always doing this. We were having dinner and there were people doing this all the time. Of course, different because I come from Europe. I was born and raised in Europe and we don't do that. And for Chinese people, it's normal to do this.
An Italian man who traveled to China shares his observations of Chinese people. He notes that many Chinese individuals spit on the streets without hesitation, whether they are eating or going about their daily routines. He points out that such behavior can be quite shocking to outsiders and questions how these social customs, which show little consideration for others, have persisted over time. China is not only known for public spitting, but also for allowing smoking relatively freely. Traditionally, smoking has been widely accepted in Chinese society and is often seen as an important social activity, especially among men. For example, offering or smoking cigarettes together during business meetings or private gatherings is frequently used as a way to strengthen relationships. This cultural background often leads to conflicts between non-smokers and smokers. Recently, a young woman approached elderly men who were smoking on the street and asked them to refrain from smoking, highlighting these ongoing tensions.
啊，就是你打上去打进去了吧？那我跟你们说，你们不听啊？你说你是啥？你是说啥？你说不听了就打，你说不听了就打，啊？既然言语不听话，就使用暴力。
After several requests for them to refrain from smoking were ignored, the young woman directly approached the elderly men who were smoking. She firmly told them she would report them if they didn't stop, but the men instead mocked and laughed at her. In the end, a scene unfolded that you would never see in a civilized country. When their argument couldn't resolve the situation, the elderly men began to gang up and attack the young woman. This shocking scene unfolded right in front of nearby children, who were all watching. As she fell from their attacks and cried out for help, the people around simply stood by and watched, doing nothing to assist her. It's a display of selfishness where no one steps in or calls out that the behavior was wrong. In China, it's not uncommon to see some inconsiderate adults openly smoking inside fast food restaurants like KFC, which are public places. What's particularly surprising is that many of these smokers justify their behavior and assert their rights. Why doesn't the Chinese government enforce strict regulations on public smoking? The reason lies in their deep economic ties with the China National Tobacco Corporation, the world's largest tobacco manufacturer. This company is exclusively owned by the Chinese government, and the substantial revenue and taxes generated from tobacco sales are used as financial resources by both local and central governments. As a result of this economic dependency, the Chinese government adopts a very passive stance on smoking regulations.
军费才10800亿，10800亿什么概念呢？我们中国烟民贡献的税1.143万亿。
我们用数据来对比一下，2021年工商税率总额1.35万亿，这也是中国烟草自2014年开始连续8年给国家缴税过万亿。咱们国家税收关键组成部分是咱们国家的财政收入的有力的保证。在2021年国家缴税排名前30名的企业中间，中国烟草那是傲视群雄，缴税1.26万亿，而第2名的到第10名的缴税总和加起来也才1.25万亿。中国2020年军费开支为1.26万亿，这正好是中国烟草公司纳税额。
It's shocking to learn that the taxes paid by the China National Tobacco Corporation are equivalent to the country's annual defense budget. In this context, some individuals are making somewhat unrealistic and illogical claims, arguing that smokers are no different from those who protect the nation. They are even demanding special privileges for smokers.
难怪烟民们经常调侃说，我抽的每一根烟都是射向敌人的子弹，我买的每一条烟那都是干嘛？射向敌人的炮弹。如果没有烟草连续10多年的万亿纳税，或许我们的航母还只是个图纸呢，要东西南北。如果没有中国烟草的贡献，那我们还是举步维艰，为中国烟草点赞吧。
This kind of reasoning reflects an attitude that prioritizes economic gains over public health and social responsibility. The government's attempt to give smokers a free pass by, ignoring the serious public health issues and environmental damage caused by smoking, is utterly pathetic. Ultimately, these problems are mainly fueled by the arrogant attitudes of smokers and the diminishing authority of the police.
谁记得住嘛？
你配合一下我们工作，
我很配合啊！你问我身份证号码，我就告诉你。你问我其他信息，我哪里记得住啊？
这栋楼里呢，其实它楼上也是有吸烟点。你坐电梯到楼顶上去吸烟，你不比你在这里更舒服吗
？Spit in the floor. It's a bit weird. Spit in the floor. It's a bit weird. Yeah. But apart from that, it's cool.
I think maybe they're spitting in the streets.
The habit of spitting on the streets is well known among Chinese people and often leaves foreigners with a negative impression. What's even more surprising is that Chinese public broadcasters are not criticizing this behavior, but rather making excuses for it. The media justifies spitting by arguing that due to severe air pollution, people have no choice but to spit for their respiratory health, effectively conveying that this behavior is acceptable.
动不动就随地吐痰，其实呢，这个行为和有没有素质没有关系，而是说我们中国人痰湿问题越来越严重了，有助于痰湿排出。
Issues like public smoking and spitting on the streets contribute to foreigners developing negative impressions of China. However, the Chinese government continues to defend smokers and even justifies spitting on public broadcasters, showing no signs of addressing these problems. In light of the situation, what kind of country can China become in the future? That's all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching for such a long time. If you found this video helpful, please share it with your friends. We're also eager to hear your thoughts. Leave a comment below and we'll read and consider them carefully. Don't forget to subscribe.